because we thought it's important that we relate to her and her struggle and the struggle of the other women rather than. Well, initially I saw a TV story about a woman who had lost her husband during the war in Kosovo and got a driving license and started to work to provide for her kids, and the whole society prejudiced her about it. This is what really initially intrigued me. I thought this could be a really interesting story to tell. So I came back to Kosovo to meet Fahriye and really hear from her how is it really to be going through that. When I met her in person, I mean, her story is amazing, and I think I could make many films about her life. But just meeting her in person, really, it is her that inspired me most. Her character, her dreams, her passion, her personality, and I really wanted to have such a strong female character on screen. Therefore, I decided to make my first feature film on a woman as strong as Fahriye Hoti is. Well, the research process went through, I went to meet Fahriye the first time, and I was lucky to go with Blerta Basholli, the actress, with whom I just did a short film in US, and then we were together when I heard the story. So we went there, we stayed so many hours talking to her, just how it was before the war, what happened to her during the war, and then after the war in Kosovo, and how it is really to be her. I came back to her many times, not so many times, honestly. I went back 4 or 5 times because really going back to her, asking her so many questions, it always made her go through those emotions again and again. So we really didn't want to hurt her feelings. First of all, we were lucky that she agreed to do the film from the beginning, and then each time we would go, we would just talk several hours with her, in a way trying to make it as few visits as possible, but at the same time trying to get the most out of those visits. Also, we went with other women. We talked. We went there and talked to the other women that work with Fahriye Hoti. Blerta did the same, the main actress, just a little bit to research and see their point of view on these stereotype issues and how they dealt with pain and stereotyping and everything, because besides the fact that they had to deal with the pain for their own loss, they had to deal with society as well. And for me, that was really, in a way, very painful, but at the same time, very encouraging that they could go through that and still, in a way, maybe move on. Well, it is this is a really good question, because many times when we're making a story about a specific location in a specific country, in a country like Kosovo, which is a small country, and many other countries don't know much about us, it is always a dilemma of what should you tell, how much should you tell, and how much should you explain in general about the political situation, about the cultural situation, about everything. For us, it was really important that the audiences relate to the character, that the audiences respond to the issue itself, and not having the necessity to understand certain facts, which we purposefully decided to show at the end of the film and not at the beginning of the film, because we thought it's important that we relate to her and her struggle and the struggle of the other women, rather than necessarily think where did it happen and what did it happen or who did the war and things like that. So I think in these terms we really went with this particular problem, but we were really trying to have the film connect with audiences around the world, because we know people, whether they're women or men, or whether they belong to a certain community, we know that for one or another reason, almost everybody goes through some stereotyping or discrimination, and we wanted people to respond to that. So it was a little bit purposefully, but also, of course, I do like going a lot with intuition. This is how also the film structure was structured. This is how the film was structured also, because of course we know the rules, we know the acts of writing a screenplay, but really with this story I really wanted an approach that is more has to do with intuition and feeling with her, rather than thinking of when should certain things happen. Julka Goshi is a very good actress, and she's really well known in Kosovo. I was lucky to have worked with her on my second year film at NYU in New York, and really had a great experience working with her. So I immediately kind of knew what I can do with an actress like her. So when I heard the story of Fahriye, for me it was right away Julka Goshi. And of course I wasn't sure, I mean, we went, as I said before, on the first time we met Fahriye, I was with Julka. So she, first of all, she had lived with the character as long as I did. And that was really great and helpful, because it helped us both think a lot about the character before actually starting to write and before actually starting to rehearse. It took me a little while until I started writing, because I had to graduate, and then I came back from US to Kosovo, worked on many other productions, and then I started writing the script. And of course there was always the dilemma if Julka is going to like the script, but luckily she did. And basically from the first draft that I showed to her, we were mostly talking about how it is really to be Fahriye Hoti. That's why we went back to meet her once again with Julka, and mostly on rehearsals we spoke about just being Fahriye. How does it really feel inside? How it is to really miss somebody who is important for you, because he's the love of your life, he's the father of your children, and you live in a society when missing the man of the house is really important. So these kind of things we were really wanted both of us to go through and understand deeply, because I knew that she is going to learn the dialogue, she is going to know the scenes, we rehearse the scenes normally, but our talks, we really had really long conversations about how it is to be Fahriye Hoti and how it is to be in her skin, rather than just typically rehearsing the scenes. And I think that helped both of us understand on how to best approach this kind of character. Well, we spoke with Alex a lot about how should we approach this film, because the way it's written and what I really wanted was a really realistic feel to it, and specifically a documentary kind of feel to the whole story. It is based on a true story, but at the same time, I do like when cameras are focused and well composed and everything, and I did that in many films of mine. But in this film, I really wanted something, some documentary feel, and I really wanted to be with a character. So we wanted something specific that we also feel her inner world. Because Fahriye Hoti, even her as a character, but even a lot of women that surrounded me, like, for example, my mom, who have gone through a lot, really don't express much because they are used to like oppress their feelings, not express them so much. sometimes because of the society, sometimes because of the kids, sometimes because they had to remain strong. So for this, we really wanted to stick with her, with the camera on her, and kind of feel her more than have her express too much to us. And this we had to work closely with Ylka in terms of how much to show her emotions, but as well how to follow that with the camera. And together with Alex, we decided that we should follow her most of the time. And of course, when something goes on a different side, or when there's a different dynamic, or when there's shift of powers or dynamics, we will get other shots as well. But we really wanted to feel everything through her, even if there's other characters talking or acting or doing some other things. So we really wanted to feel with her and follow her and see if that works with understanding her anxiety and her inner feelings rather than her expressions. Thank you. Yes, of course. Well, it was amazing to get the rewards because it's rewarding. Of course, we've done a lot of work, not just me, but the producers. The producer Ylka and Nicole Studio were really supportive and did a great job. But all the other producers, the DP, the actors, the whole crew, everybody really worked hard, and I feel lucky to have gathered these. To have been able to have these people around me in this film, because everybody really just was passionate about the project and working so hard. So for that, I'm really thankful that that work really was rewarded at the end, because it was in a way worth it. The audience reaction was really good, and I was really surprised. We still haven't screened the film locally, so I still haven't seen the reaction of the audience in Kosovo, especially. But from Sundance and other festivals, we really got great reactions from the audience, and that's really amazing because, as I said, a local story with very specific character, with very specific traditions and culture. It's always a dilemma on how much you should show, because we don't want the film to be very descriptive on describing political issues, culture, and everything. So it's really always balancing between how much to tell and how much you don't need to tell and have the audience follow the character. So getting the positive response, many people said, you showed us only as much as we needed to know, not a word more, not a word less. So it was, for me, that was really great, because the film doesn't have a lot of dialogue. We even cut even more dialogue on the editing with Enis Saraç, our editor, and this is really great to hear this kind of response, that people all around the world really understood the film and really felt with the character and really identified with her in a way that was really, really important. So so far we had really great reviews. We had great reactions from the audience. So let's see. We are very eager to hear the audience locally, but also regionally, like in Cine Days, but also in other festivals. Thank you.